Welcome to Grownish Women. I'm your host, Holly Teegarden. This is the podcast for women who are in the messy middle of midlife. Your kids are growing up, your hormones are doing whatever they want, and that quiet little voice is asking, okay, well, what do I want to be when I grow up? And it's getting louder by the day. We talk about the stuff everybody is going through, but nobody wants to talk about. We laugh at the chaos, we sit in the hard parts, and we do it all without judgment. Because midlife does not come with a manual, but it does come with this podcast. Let's go. Hey everybody, this is Holly Teegarden, your host. Thank you so much for tuning in to the first episode of Grownish Women. This is really for women in their 40s and 50s who are kind of going through it. And what it is just like the messy middle of perimenopause, menopause, all the things, sandwich generation, kids going to college, bodies feeling crazy, like all the it's. And you want to feel seen and heard, and you want to vent and laugh and know that you're not alone. You might have friends going through the same thing, and that's okay, but this is your tribe now. Make sure you tell them about this. There is no judgment zone. But yeah, every Friday we'll have new episodes. And the topics will revolve around family, kids, sex, body, health, identity, work, relationships, and friendships. Sometimes it'll just be me. Sometimes my friends will come on, sometimes experts, and just like women who are in the messy middle will be joining the conversation. I want to say that, I'm going to put it out there. You might cry, but you also are going to definitely laugh. You're going to tell a friend, hey, you have to listen to this. And that's really the goal. This is, sparking real conversations between real women. But first, I just wanted to give you a little bit about my messy middle, just so that you know who your host is. So I'm going to kind of go down the list of my messy middle. Let's see. I guess I'll start with my sandwich party that I had, where my dad died a couple of years ago and my 87-year-old mom moved in. It was the first time living with my mom since I was 18. Like, I'm going to be 53 this year, and it was the first time living with my mom since I was 18. I will say that, I appreciate the time that I had with her. She recently moved out like 6 weeks ago, but it was also difficult because, it was difficult because she was just triggering things from the past. And after she moved out, I'm just like trying to, I don't know, put not a pin, but closing that chapter. There's relief, there's grief. Our parents get older, their memory starts going. And just kind of seeing your parent get older. And especially when they're living with you and you seeing that on a day-to-day basis. So coming out of that has definitely been challenging, but I am like having a sigh of relief. So that was my messy middle the past year. My daughter is 19 and she went to college in New York City, and I thought like I had it all together, and I was wrong, and we'll talk about that. She decided to come back after her first semester, her freshman year. And honestly, that's the boomerang that no one talks about. That boomerang of coming back after the first semester. No one talks about that. But like, I forget what the statistic is. It's extremely high. So we've been navigating that, and she's going to end up going to college closer to home, which is great. And then I'm married for the third time and final time. And I feel like with this one, I really have been able to become more vulnerable and more trusting and heal a lot of wounds that were holding me back from having a good relationship. And I think those wounds not only healed my relationship with my husband, but also helped me heal wounds friendship wise. So that has been great. We have been married 8 years. And I think in the 8 years, we have like tackled all the things. But one of the foundations that we stay true with is our faith. And so I wanted to just say, as part of my messy middle, is that I am a believer, I am a Christian. I am a Jesus Christian, not a nationalist Christian. If you know, you know. So it's more like truly like what would Jesus do versus like what would the white Jesus do that our nationalist leadership would say. I'm just trying to put it politely. So listen, if that's not your bag, I totally get it. I do have a potty mouth, so I'm just going to put it out there that yes, you will be hearing my potty mouth throughout this season. Um, but yeah, I am grounded in my faith. Oh my gosh. Think another thing that people don't talk about that I've been going through is like my body. I stopped moving and I gained a significant amount of weight in the past year. I don't even call it like exercise because I just really just stopped moving. I became like a creature of my home. I love, hold on. Alexa, set a timer for 10 minutes.
10 minutes timer started.
Hi. Okay. I don't know. So yeah, I guess in the past year, I stopped moving, gained a significant amount of weight back that I had taken off. I was really on a great routine with exercise. I was also taking GLP for a while, but I just stopped moving. I became a creature of my home. I think I always loved my home. Like COVID was great for me, but yeah, I could stay in my house 7 days a week and never leave my house. So I really need to change my perspective with that because I do want to live as long as possible. And that is the motivation to change. So if you are dealing with this right now, just know you're not alone. And listen, hit me up. Let's be an accountability partner for real. Shit. Let me think. Another thing is I it's so interesting. Again, this is like the messy middle. And one of the things I feel like is so interesting in this season is my gray hair. And I stopped dyeing it right before COVID. I was just ready. I have did have naturally black hair, and now I have salt and pepper hair. But it just started looking really fake, and that's just not me. But it's crazy because I'm getting more compliments now more than ever from like men and women. And I think, there is definitely a myth that gray means old and haggard. No, this is the permission slip. If you are on the fence, do it. Do it. I did the big chop. So when I was able to chop my hair, I did it. But yeah, I see so many women in the salon just kind of like look at me when I'm getting my hair done as they're getting their hair dye, and we're the same age, and there's just freedom with that. Again, I'm not saying like, I don't know. I don't feel like I look haggard. In fact, I think I look sexier now with the gray hair than I did before. So there it is. I wanted to explain how I got this podcast started. So last year around this time, my algorithm started feeding me the empty nesting, the kid graduating and going to college and all the things. And it was so interesting because they were all funny. And I thought, oh, I have this shit. This is great. Like, I got this. Yeah, I did not have that. I took my daughter to school and I just went on a emotional roller coaster for the remainder of the year. And yeah, it was brutal. And so, I went to Facebook and posted honestly about it because nobody was talking about it. And as the year went on with like sandwich generation, boomerang kids, sex stuff, like nobody was talking about it. Any of these things. And even sometimes friends weren't even talking about it. And I know they were going through this shit. And so I decided, if no one else is talking about it, I'm going to. And that's what Grownish Women is. It's talking about the things we're all going through, but are afraid to talk about. So, like I said, we are going to hit all of the topics. We're going to talk about kids leaving. We are going to talk about like sex, what happens to sex in our 40s and 50s, career pivot, friendships, the importance of friendships, just clothing, like with a stylist. I'm trying to think. I mean, it's just going to be chock full of content with different topics that, again, we're just like all going through. Each episode will be like 30 to 40 minutes. I love podcasts. I listen to them probably more than music, but I dread the podcasts that I have to listen to. Like it takes, 4 days to get through, and then I forget what I first heard because of brain fog. Hello. But yeah, they'll be 30 to 40 minutes, really digestible, funny, laughing, crying, and always taking something from it. So thank you for listening. I want you to know you are not alone. Welcome to the tribe. And yeah, welcome to Grownish Women, a podcast where we talk about the shit we are all going through, but afraid to talk about. Okay, that is a wrap on today's episode of Grownish Women. And honestly, I could have kept going. If something you heard today made you laugh, made you cry, or maybe made you text your best friend and say you have to listen to this, that's exactly why I created it. Do me a favor, if you're loving the show, please subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts and leave a review. It takes like 2 minutes and it really means the world to me. It also helps other women in the messy middle find us. And trust me, they need the community just as much as we do. Come find me on Instagram, Grownish Women Podcast, and keep the conversation going because what we talk about here doesn't need to stop when the episode ends. I'll see you next Friday. Until then, be a little kinder to yourself. You're doing better than you think.